No matter what it is in life that you want, you gotta go out there and get it. Just don't let it come to a sleeper but a dream. Never give up on your goals, stay focused on you. Focus your view, succeed, cause I'm hoping you do. Keep climbing up the ladder, cause the key to success. Go hard and go home, never settle for less. Life is stress, but we gotta deal with it, homie. Send a prayer to the man to put a shield on it. Work hard for what you get, appreciate what you got. You can always improve, just don't stop. Going for your dream to achieve in your life. Gotta take a chance like rolling the dice. It won't come to you, so you gotta go get it. At the end of the day, add up the digits. Miss Price used to say, if there's a will, there's a way. So I live by it until this very day. I kept on mashing and I never gave up. Me believing in myself is the way I came up.
Never hold you down, you gotta get up. These are your dreams, never give up. Never ever give up. You gotta keep on hustling, keep on rocking. You gon' make it, keep believing. Never ever give up.
I'ma keep hustling till I'm down in the dirt. Number one rule is my family is first. I know you're probably saying this dude trying to preach a sermon. Let me speak cause the streets deserve it. At least they learn it, but the pain and the progress. Face to face with the strain of the process. Don't live your life like a Loch Ness. Anybody can succeed if you compete in the contest. But if you look and you find less, don't digress. Stick with your plan, it's just time's test. And I bet with a little persistence, determination and a little resistance, nothing can stop you from reaching your peak. But honestly, you're the reason it's reached. Even if weak, you can find a way to achieve. Man, it feel good to see my people succeed.
Never hold you down, you gotta get up. These are your dreams, never give up. Never ever give up. You gotta keep on hustling, keep on rocking. You gon' make it, keep believing.
What's up, team? This is Robert Porter and Ipiani Locker with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show on KCAA NBC 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, where we will talk politics, culture, and history. Before we get into things, you can get the KCAA app. You go on the App Store, look up KCAA and get the app, and then you can listen to this right off your phone, and you don't have to tune it in. We'd like to mention our sponsors, Celebrities Bar and Grill. You know, Max, Zaire, and Zoe are doing incredible things with the community and with their business. They have the Tuesday steak special for $9.99, and they have other little deals here or there. So if you follow I Love San Bernardino by Robert Porter, or I Love San Bernardino 2, or I Love San Bernardino page, you can see these advertisements, and they will remind you, hey, we got to go over there and get me a steak special, or go have some margaritas.
Hey, now.
Virgin ones, of course, right? I wouldn't put it, no.
For your, whatever your preference
just for
is.
me, yeah.
Whatever your preference is.
But if you'd like a little tequila in your margarita, and I haven't had that in a long time, but I do like the smell of a good tequila and a margarita.
How about mezcal?
Ooh, mezcal smells incredible. And also I like the smell of a daiquiri. But I love a virgin daiquiri. I like virgins. Like virgin daiquiris. Yeah.
You should be from the Middle East, I guess.
Yeah. Well, so thank you, Max, so much. Yeah, and Max is awesome. He's gonna be coming on this show soon. We're gonna get him in here, and we're gonna have a good show. So thank you, Max, for all you do, and we appreciate you. I'd like to mention Paul Rosso is the I Love San Bernardino Standout of the Week.
The commish.
And, the commish. Paul is a lover of this area. He was heavily involved in Colton for a long time. I know he was a commissioner over there, and he did a lot of good work.
Awesome.
I've worked with him. He was doing a tree planting for veterans with his own brother. He's Santa during the holidays. I mean, so many events. I can't even mention them all. So please follow Paul Rosso on Facebook. He is really top notch. I met him first here at KCAA back in the day. He was on the show before me. I was always impressed with him then. And to be honest, I always watch other hosts so I can learn from them, right? Because, you don't know everything.
Impossible.
Yeah.
It's
And like you see techniques and stuff, and like I kind of feel lucky that I came in, standing on the shoulders of giants like Mr. Rosso. So thank you so much for what you've done for the community, dude.
Awesome.
And top notch. I love San Bernardino standout of the week, and that is brought to you by Ben Chavez with First Lineage Site Services. And we'd like to thank Ben for all he's done for our show and putting standouts of the week. And it's a cool little segment that puts his name out there, and also puts out these dedicated citizens of our area.
Yes.
But we are going to have some new ones, right?
Hey,
so we're going to have a business of the week, right? And we're a nonprofit of the week.
Okay.
Right?
Cool. Okay.
So these are gonna. So we're looking for some sponsors, right?
Hey now.
So like, if we can get some sponsors for these, it will be $100 a month. And we'll get these names out. It's usually about 4 a month. It just depends on if we have a holiday or whatever.
Definitely.
And we get those out there, and it gives us a chance to showcase these organizations, these businesses that deserve it.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
Maybe they don't have money to put marketing out on Facebook or put it in the newspaper or on the radio, but they can get on our show, for a day, and
Definitely.
we can get them out there, right?
Definitely.
And that's something that me and Yanni do, and you do, of course, too, is we go out there in the community and show them what's good, what's good out there,
Definitely.
right? And
Totally.
I know you showed them what's good with Chubsy Smash Burger.
Hey.
Shout out to Vic.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah, Joseph and Vic are good people. Pat over the whole team. Now our my lady's nephew Phineas is working over there.
Awesome.
He made our burgers the other day
There
when
we
I
go.
got this cool shirt. Thank
There
you
you
so
go.
much, team. We appreciate that.
Definitely.
And of course, I got jalapenos on
Of
my.
course, you got to.
Wubs
With the
and-
onions.
My double Wubsinator. Yeah, the grill.
You got a double, wasn't there? So
Yeah.
4 patties? You got 4?
Oh no, mate!
That's
it's,
two.
It's a double. It's a double. Yeah, it's
Okay,
it's
double.
yeah.
Yeah, because you said
Not a double.
A quad rubs
But we're gonna do something like.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I promised Eric Chubsies one time, but then I realized today Chubsies is closed on Monday.
Yes.
Fact.
I'm
yes.
sorry, team. It's closed on Monday, but
Sad
it
times.
is open.
Sad times.
Yeah, but it is open the rest of the week. So head over to Chubsy tomorrow.
Hey
Get
now.
your smash burger.
Ah.
Right, good stuff, and we do appreciate them. And thank you for all the merch, and thank you for helping our community,
Definitely.
providing jobs for our locals, and providing good food, somewhere to
now.
go hang out, and you don't have to wait at that In-N-Out line.
Word.
Like woo.
And I like me some In-N-Out too, right? But what I love about the smash burgers is just that crust on the patty. Just adds a whole different dimension and to the burger, that crunch. Like most burgers, you won't find that crunch, and then those grilled onions smashed into it, and the jalapenos, of course, right? So when I want that crunch and I need that crunch, that's where I'm running over to Smash Burgers, and I need it more than I should admit. So
and good people. So thank you so much.
I just want to point out how you were, highlighting that amazing shirt. Just want to point out that each one of these shirts that you see on the show today, Jason Lola has created.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jason.
Jason Lola with Wax Skateboards. So we'll tell him how, with your incredible shirt that you just provide us with your.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see on the show, but right here,
There you go.
guys can, the Empire. That's
Antonio Di Maio.
this is the podcast I represent. This is the logo. So if you guys want to get a shirt, just DM us, email us so we can get you one and
There you
support the
go.
brand. You know how we do.
Word up.
And Jason Lola with Wax Skateboards. If you would like to get shirts done for yourself, right on our I Love San Bernardino promotion on my page, if you look right there, his Instagram is right there on the bottom
Awesome.
of the post. It's there every week. I thank Jason for all that he has done for me, and he's got some skills. He really does when it comes to
skills.
marketing. Yeah.
Oh, this is actually a wax hat right here, actually, by the
But
way.
he's like,
This hat was created by him as well,
Yeah,
Chubsy.
I almost wore my Chubsy's hat, dude. I probably should, but this is what it comes down to. Jason Lola is like
Everywhere.
He's dressed in San Bernardino in fine clothes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I needed someone to help get some good print. I knew Jason's a really good guy, so I wanted to go through him, and so he got some great shirts for me to
Awesome.
put this logo that I had on, and
And
Man, it's great.
and an artist.
Yes, he could
Yeah.
also design for
I'm
you
like,
if you need it.
To be able to take a piece of work that someone has drawn and then put it on the computer.
Digitize it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he does it with a little. He's incredible, man.
He did it on his like iPad and
Yeah.
snuck it out if he
Yeah,
wanted to.
yeah.
And that's a lot of work too. That ain't easy, man. So
Definitely.
Shout out to you, Jason.
Yeah, Jason. Thank
You the
you,
man.
dude.
You the man.
And we'll definitely let him know that he was shouted on this show because like we've had him. He's been on here like 3 or 4 times at least.
Awesome.
For all kinds of different events from the skateboarding event where we renamed Cole Skate Park,
Yeah,
right?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
He was part of the movement that spearheaded that. That's actually how I met him. So,
Awesome.
like when you meet someone for a good cause like that, to me it tells you, yeah, okay,
Word up.
yeah, they're
Word up.
really for the community, you know.
Yeah. Meeting good
Good
people is
stuff.
important.
So I do have the history tidbit, and today we're going to talk about the museum over at Patton State Hospital, and I believe it is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay.
So the reason that I mention this is because Patton State Hospital is one of the oldest psychiatric hospitals in the whole nation.
Okay.
And especially on the West Coast. It's been there a long time. It did a lot of cutting edge stuff back in the days and some probably some hardcore stuff too.
Yeah,
that we that we
Yeah.
don't want to repeat.
Totally.
Yeah. So
Totally.
that's where these museums come in. And this one group has been putting together this small museum over on Patton State Hospital that is open for tours if you request. But I like to read the article that I got out of California Insights, and it was written by AI. So I was looking for that, and I was looking for the author. I was like, written by AI. Whoa.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How factual can it be?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
find out.
well, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Anthony Ortega, a historian at Patton State Hospital, recently presented the history of this forensic psychiatric hospital in San Bernardino. Ortega, a graduate of Cal State San Bernardino, discussed the hospital's history from its establishment in 1890 to the present day during the Disability Studies lecture series. He emphasized that the hospital's role in the community and its development through the different stages of psychiatric practice. Patton State Hospital, initially the Southern California State Asylum for the Insane and Inebriates, opened up in 1893. It holds a significant collection of historical archives and artifacts. Over 2 years, Ortega graduate student Shannon Long and CSUSB student interns under Professor Tiffany Jones established the hospital's museum in 2015. This museum documents the history of the institution. Currently, CSUSB public history students Jesus Jimenez and Samantha Colasso are interning at the museum and archive room, which is open to the public by appointment. Ortega's presentation was a prelude to a CSUSB museum tour planned for late April, preceding Mental Health Awareness Month in May. So I guess I'm a month early. Ortega discussed the hospital's establishment and architectural design and its importance to the local community. He also mentions past treatments like malaria therapy, insulin shock therapy, hydrotherapy, electric shock therapy, ECT, and lobotomies. Except for ECT, these treatments are no longer in use. So the mistakes in the past. Tiffany Jones, a CSUSB history professor, stressed the need to understand mental health history to contextualize certain discussions about mental health treatment and stigma. She commended Ortega's presentation for illustrating how the treatment of mental ill individuals reflects wider institutional and political history. She expressed satisfaction in working with Ortega on projects that shed light on the often overlooked history. Man, yeah. Ooh, it gives me chills thinking about like lobotomies and like the things that went over. Now, my little history with Patton is, you all think I'm like stayed there, or why are you looking at me like that, Yanni? But Eric, why are you looking at me like? So I went over. I was.
We know you crazy, bro. So that's.
I was delivering pizzas for 2 guys, right? I was on pizza delivery, right, in Patton State Hospital. I was like, whoa, I wonder where this is at. They're like, it's at 9 o'clock, so I know I'm usually not delivering that late, but they promised to give me $20 tip, and I was
okay.
like, get over it.
What year is this?
This is 1995. 1995.
I could totally see, like, oh, one's got out and he's
Yeah.
got a Two Guys pizza outfit on. Get him.
Crazier than that. So I go there and they take my keys and my wallet, dude.
Yeah.
And like I'm a little bit like,
What's going on
yeah,
here?
like what's going on here? Then like, and the door opens. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, it's electric. It's all big old door. I'm like, walk in there, and that thing slammed shut behind me.
Oh,
I'm not.
Lord.
It was like the lockdown slam.
I hear you. Welcome to the shoe.
And I was like,
Hilarious.
whoa. You know, I'm not really understanding, but I went a little bit further, and then you hear chuckling.
Yeah,
Right,
they start
so-
laughing because
Yeah, so some of the nurses or doctors or whoever they were in there, they were in lab coats. I didn't know. Like,
hear.
they were.
When did you soil yourself?
Yeah, that's like, I'm just glad that I'm going to be able to get out of here. Like, here's a
Amen.
pizza. They gave me a $20 tip.
Awesome.
Got out of there. I was on my way.
At least they were honest with their word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they probably get fired for something like that today, unfortunately. But that was a lot of fun. A good story
Definitely.
for me.
Awesome, bro.
So that's a little bit of and if you'd like to go to the museum, I suggest contacting them. I think there is a number if you look on their website.
Okay.
I need to do that.
I was just thinking it might be something that we all three should go, or all four of us should roll out to.
When
Yeah.
I did
Might be PTSD for you.
I did a San Bernardino history at Patton State Hospital for, I think it was Sammy Hagar or somebody went there for a little bit, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and then
Maybe that's the
but
way.
Then
That
like I
part.
couldn't get into the museum, so they kicked us off, and then we had to go to Fontana High School instead and do it. So,
Okay.
But like that's what happens sometimes when you're filming live on site. You know, you can't do it. And they
No,
just say
true.
no, and they're like, ah.
Yeah, just gotta switch
Yeah.
and move and pivot.
Yeah, do
Definitely.
the next one too. Got it. You are doing some incredible things with your show, The Empire. I first saw you.
Podcast.
A podcast. But I first saw you on online after I met you at James Ramos's event. I think he was being installed as assemblyman. Was that?
Yeah, I think it was either that or the Helen Tran.
Was it Helen Tran?
I think it was Helen Tran.
Okay. So it was Helen Tran, and Ryan Stanley was
Yeah,
with
we
you.
were with Ryan Stanley. Yeah.
So
Shout out to the Stanley family.
That was cool. I found out a show. I've been seeing you. You're interviewing like
A lot
the
of people.
who's who of San Bernardino and others that need to be showcased more often.
Totally.
So what gave you this idea? First of all, where are you from? Where are you from?
Got you. Well, I don't know how to start it, but let's say I just came from west of San Bernardino, so Covina, West Covina area, and I ended up out here probably like almost 2 decades ago on accident. Wasn't planning on to, but ended up being out here. My family was here, so I stayed with my family, started doing things with them, and I'm a CSUSB graduate.
Go Yodis.
Yep.
Right. Shout out to Dr. Knopp, who was really good at the music program there. And how I got into this was by accident, to be honest. I actually never I never wanted to be in front of the camera, actually. I never wanted to be in front of the camera, didn't want to do any of this stuff. And
You're right. You're amongst friends. Right?
got you. Speaking to the choir, right?
Yes,
They say.
yes.
Speaking to the choir, as they say, right? Hallelujah.
Amen.
And basically, long story short, like a cat of mine that I knew, he was like, "Hey man, let's start a podcast." You know how everyone's like, everyone and their mama starts a podcast. If you guys don't know,
Yes.
it's kind of just oversaturated, and it's just kind of crazy. So my friend's like, "Yeah, let's start a podcast," and someone else was like, "Yeah, you should do a podcast," and I was like, "All right," I was like, "Let's do it." And then the day I decided to do it with the homie, he didn't show up. And I was like, you know what? I'll just talk about San Bernardino. I'm here. Like, let's talk about San Bernardino. And so I just gave my opinion on San Bernardino. And the way I got into the interview aspect was I'm genuinely interested in people.
Definitely.
Like genuinely interested in people. And I've been told by several people throughout my life that I'm a good listener and give good advice, give good conversations. And so I was like anybody I suggest in this world, you take what you're naturally good at, find what it is, and you use it as a skill, and you become, don't have to work a day in your life, as they say, right?
Word
So
up.
I utilized what I thought was
Wait, no. That is profound. Say it again, dude. Say it again.
So basically, ladies and gentlemen, what I recommend is you find what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what your skill is, and you do that, and then eventually you'll figure out that you never have to work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I found out I've been listening more and more to people that I respect, and life is about service. So it's about not being served, but who you can serve.
Amen.
Right? So I recommend everybody keep that in mind in life. Is like not what I can get from you, but what can I give to you to help you? How can I make your life better, easier, more compact?
And it comes back. It
does.
does, man.
Yes, you have to believe in that. It'll come back, and never do things out of selfish reasons or expecting something. You'll always get something back. So basically, I took the natural ability that people tell me, like, hey, you're a good listener, you give good advice, and I was like, you know what? I'm generally interested in people. Let me just sit down with people that I find are interesting and share their stories with the platform that we have. And so that's kind of how it just kind of taken off.
Where do you hold your interviews at?
So I started off like traveling, like let's say if I had to come here and do an interview, I'd come here, set up, do everything, blah blah blah, and then by the grace and shout out to the Garcia Center, whenever they're available in time, I get to use their space every once in a while when I can. So it's nice. Eventually, trying to get my own space and do things, which will come in time, I believe. I was talking to actually had a interview with someone earlier today who's shout out to the month it is actually Autism Acceptance Month.
Okay.
This month, and his name is Billy Dinnerstein. He's out of New Jersey, and he has a sensory friendly barbershop where he deals with people who are sensory issue autistic kids and stuff like that. And so he was like, I wish I would have started this earlier, but I was like, it's divine timing. Like, you can't force things to come when you want. Sometimes things have to just, you put the work in, and then whenever it's your time, it's your time. And so it's very hard to believe and trust in those things, but I think it's really important to have faith, keep working hard, and know that when what's supposed to happen in the right timing for you will happen in the right time.
Totally.
It doesn't have to always be the same thing, because you can still do what you love, and it could be something different in the future, right?
Totally.
So I did my archaeology time. I did the working. I wanted to be an archaeologist since I was 3. I did all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, to be able to do what I do now for the last 10 years, and actually what you said, it's not a job, like, if you care about it, right?
Definitely.
If you enjoy what you do, right? I enjoy helping the community. Been able to do it. It's been 10 years, Johnny.
Word up, man.
I ain't rich.
Yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Be positive thought,
but you're not on the street.
But yeah. And,
you're not living on the street.
And I have helped a lot of people.
Yes, you do.
And those people, by helping them, that helps me.
Yes, indeed.
It makes me feel happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to me, like, to be able to do what I wanted to do, showcase people, do the Facebook and the group, it was exactly, like, dude, thank you for
Preaching
saying
to the
that,
choir.
man. Because if you do what you love, man, then you inspire others to do what they love.
Amen.
Yeah. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard because, people have to make money. You have to do your things. But the thing is, I'm a big believer in faith. And the biggest faith is, like, believing in yourself. Right? You can believe in God and everything like that, which is great. But what's the point if you don't believe that it's for you and that you're supposed to have this thing?
And the Creator believes in us.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
We
But you have
just
to believe in yourself.
Yeah, we have
Word
to.
up.
We have to take that step, and it's hard. I always tell, like, people ask me, "How do you have a good relationship?" Well, it's because I had to make myself happy first.
Word up.
Thinking about, like, your wife with your wife? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, my lady.
What's your
like,
lady?
Yeah. We're not married
I'm
yet.
trying.
Not married yet.
Speaking into existence, though.
No, but she's a wonderful woman.
Got you.
And, you never know, But, like, how I look at it right now is it's positive that I found myself, that I found the way to make me happy.
Yeah.
And then it helped him. Same thing with work. If you're happy at work, you go home to your family, you're not...
Totally.
Yeah.
Not bummed out and
Yeah.
terrible, bringing the baggage of the world into the house, into your kingdom, and bringing those bad vibes and that bad juju. If you're fulfilled with what you do, if you're happy about what you do, you bring is a sense and a joy that people can see, and a joy within the light that you exude, and you bring that wherever you travel.
Yeah, and I got to give people credit because I know there's people out there, and shout out to you who work because they have to work and they're not really happy with their job and whatever, but you have to take care of business, and so please continue to do what you got to do, but don't forget, like, to fulfill your happiness. And make sure, like, going back to, like, having a lady at home, I think it's really important that what they say is that men have to go out and fight the world. They shouldn't have to come home and fight anybody else.
Word up.
So your home should be your peace, your tranquilness, and if that's not a situation, then I think you might have to do some reorganization, as they say.
And you have to work at that too. You have to work at it yourself. You can't expect another person to give that to you, that peace, right? So
Yeah.
it's a working together kind of thing. So sometimes you need your alone time, or all that
Totally.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then also with doing what you want to do to find out what you love. So all the time I see people who come in with bands, or they're musicians or poets or whatever, and they have a regular job.
Yes.
And then they're doing their hobby or their side business and trying to make that pay for everything else.
You have to invest in your dream. I often say, you have to till in the fields that you want to see growth in. Like many of us have to work to pay the bills, to provide for our families or loved ones and things of that nature. But like you're saying, don't ever forget about the dream and vision that you've been given, because we've all been given a unique dream and vision, and that's not to tease us. That's there for you. You just have to render the efforts. You have to believe. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe that you got to create a plan as well. But if you do your part, if you till in the field, if you water the seeds are designed to grow, but they won't grow in hand. So you gotta have faith. Find that fertile soil and till in those fields, and the increase will come. It will come.
I love this garden analogy. It's so important because.
Yeah.
Like if you do that in a garden, and you're like, if you don't take care of, you don't water it as much on this side, you see how everything is. So that's how life is. You got to water,
Totally.
you got to fertilize, you got to plant proper seeds at the right time.
Yep.
You got to de-weed. That
Yeah.
could be removing negative things out of your sphere and
That part.
things that are not working for you or supporting you or building you up, things that are tearing you down. It's a lot of growth when you navigating the boulevard of your dreams, you know?
Yeah, and then you're not saying, I wish I would have.
That's the worst.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to be that. And it's, even though you're working hard and you're doing 40 hours a week and you're tired, that you could still, make 10 minutes if
Totally.
you can. Write down a
That's
plan
it.
for 10 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Two things. I will use the garden analogy. So today I put some mulch into my pots. Mulch is basically kind of like compost, anything to keep the plants from like overheating and stuff like that. So basically it's like you have to protect your seeds as well, protect
Totally.
your dreams, right?
Amen.
And then going back to what Robert was saying about, you should pursue your dream even if it's 10 minutes. They say, there's a saying where it goes like, where are all the best ideas at?
In the grave.
In the graveyard, in the cemetery.
Gone forever.
Yeah, so you can just go off of what is the street, Waterman and Highland, and I bet there's a lot of ideas off of Highland and Waterman. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so
Mount View Cemetery.
yeah, and I also believe I wanted to go back to Yanni. I firmly believe that God, the Creator, the universe, however you guys want to say it, gives each one of us a specific idea, right? And I also believe that it's limited time. So you have a limited time amount to execute that idea, or the creator will give it to somebody else to execute it.
So it's funny how that works with invention, right? People invent things or have an idea, and then all of a sudden you see that it's already been out there, or it's so you got to be on it, right?
Like I have a thought process very similar in that vein. I feel like when you have certain ideas, I feel like there's like 6 or 7 other people around this globe that have the same idea, but ultimately who's the first one to get to market?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Will get the credit, even though many might have had the idea, but the one had the fortitude and determination to render the efforts to manifest,
Yeah, or have the access,
That is
right?
true
Have
as
the
well.
access and true, right? Like right now they're giving credit to a black American from the South who invented the first airplane, or the kind of idea, like before the Wright brothers. I was gonna say the White brothers.
And they were that too.
yeah, a little bit of column B. And so, and it's interesting that you mentioned the thing as well, because I remember I was a kid and I'd have these ideas. I remember I had like this Hot Wheel idea about like this thing, and I was like, man, that'd be a cool idea. And then like 2 weeks later, I saw it on TV, and I'm like, oh, interesting. And so I think a lot of things is about access, right? Because
True.
there's also a saying which is like, they used to say back in like, post-slavery, that a lot of the slaves had ideas, and then the other Americans, white Americans, whatever, would steal the ideas and patent it and get credit for the ideas. So that's also a very interesting concept of like, the access to the ideas and being able to execute them. So I'm going to kind of go on a quick tangent really quick. That's why I think it's really important, and I was writing about it earlier today, that we give access to the youth to like the STEM programs.
Word up.
And to give them ideas about trade, and that, hey, you can build a house, you know, you can fix your plumbing, make these things look cool, because what's cool right now is dancing on TikTok. And if we can make being a dentist, being a doctor, being an engineer, being a teacher, but like skills. I'm talking about like skills and trades. If we can make that cool compared to like dancing on TikTok, or just as cool as dancing on TikTok, I think the American society will be amazing.
And because I just saw a survey where it's saying like they were just interviewing the youth and asking them like what their dreams are, what they want to be, and the number one answer was an influencer, right? But and then you could still be that influencer, but you could influence them through the skill sets that you learn at a vocational trade, right? Going to learn how to plumbing, learn how to be an electrical worker, or how to weld.
Those TikToks are bad. I love watching them.
You know what I mean? And you could, you could even do a welder's dance too if you want to dance. But I totally support what you're saying, because we need to invest in our youth. I believe like exposure makes the difference. When you have, I grew up here in the Dino West Side, right? Yeah. I had a group of friends when we were doing the music as well, because we all do music at one point in time, right? That's just
Black
the
guy
path.
rapping again?
Yeah, it just fits. It works. Yeah. But for those brothers, they had never been to the beach. Now, granted, San Bernardino County is the biggest county geographically in the country, right? But to them, when you talked about the beach, it was just something they saw on the screen, and that was it. They had never seen the beach. So one time, eventually we got them there. But that exposure, so many youth that have never seen outside of their just immediate surroundings, so they don't believe in themselves because they see around them people have lost their dreams or their ambitions to try to achieve something. So that exposure in education to vocational trades and different sectors of work and employment and entrepreneurship makes a difference, because we as human beings, often we have to see things modeled before we believe that they're attainable, Yeah.
And that's the same thing with making your own business or starting a band or, a lot of, I just don't think they could do it. But like, if you can
that's our greatest battlefield, is that of our own mind.
And sometimes, and straight up, I've done things and I did it, and then I'm like, well, I did that. I got a new idea, a new goal. I'm going to go for something new.
But you tried, and that's the key. You tried.
And then sometimes, even crazier, I go back to that thing. Like you'll find whatever that hobby was, and you're like, oh, wow, I haven't done this in a while, You get back into it and enjoy it again. So, like...
Even having a different perspective.
Yes.
Totally.
So that's what they always go for your dreams, team.
Word up.
Yes.
Word up. Mr. Antonio, we already talked. Antonio.
Yeah, you good. Hey, whatever you want. Hey, I know.
A question for you I have is, totally, and that just happened over the weekend.
That part. Quick pause. What the hell is Roger with the belt now? What's that? He's like the new whipper?
I don't
whip
that.
I was like, what is going on? He's got the cowboy outfit going on. I'm like, what is going on with The Rock?
I hear you.
He took the Brahma Bull to another thing.
Or something. I don't know. I didn't see that.
I guess I missed something.
The WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, I saw clips.
That wasn't Eric.
No.
Because
I saw it on Noah James's page, and I was like, what is going on with The Rock? I'm like, okay, interesting.
Definitely.
He's making some extra money.
Word up. And not that he needs anymore, but he loves it. You know what I mean? But my question for you is, because I've seen you interview an array of guests from many different occupations, from artists to directors. How do you go about selecting the individuals that you like to interview?
Yeah, so initially, like I was saying, I find whoever I find interesting, right? Like, so... Like, I'll go through people and I'll like look at their background, look at what they're doing, and I'll like, okay, they're interesting. So, for example, there was a community development person named Nathan Freeman. I used to be the community development here. He had this whole plan to fix San Bernardino and to make it the community better. And I remember I interviewed him before the Carousel Mall got taken down. And he told me about this whole plan and vision he had for developing the community and everything like that. And I was like, wow, I never would have known this information, or the community would have never known this information if I didn't get to sit with him and let him spit his story, right?
Awesome.
And unfortunately, he's not here. I heard reasons why, they kind of like ran him off or whatever, which is unfortunate because I guess that's a different story about San Bernardino. And then sometimes people are recommended to me, and I just kind of like people that I find interesting, right?
Definitely.
I kind of go with it. And some people, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably experienced this, where people are like, yeah, I'll show up. And then you're like, okay, no call, no show.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Had better dates than you then, like whatever. Like, at least give me the respect and say, hey, I'm not gonna come. At least give me the dignity.
For real.
But does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
No problem.
And there is ways to prepare for that. Double guess, that helps. So if you're afraid that guest is not going to come, which happens to me a lot, and I have been here by myself talking mega art and history all by myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2 guests, especially if that guest is known for not coming, right? And the other thing is that you call them directly an hour before the show, and you make sure they're coming. And if they don't answer, then you change the show. You tell them, oh, I guess you can't, you have to cancel right there. It's hard.
So the reason why I don't double book is because I like to focus on an individual.
That's why you're here alone today, by the way.
Oh, really?
Because you interview alone, yes.
Oh, really?
We wanted to focus on the individual.
You could have brought 10 people on it, or whatever. I wouldn't care, We were here to have, because I'm used to seeing your program with like 3 different people. I think
That's true. That's true.
So I was like, okay, cool. Like we're gonna have a.
I wanted a host. I wanted to talk. I wanted the host talk.
Got you. Like viruses.
Yeah,
you want to have a
yeah,
host.
yeah.
Okay, got you.
We got comedy here today.
Symbiotes.
There we go. we got community influencers together, and we got ideas. And a lot of times we don't get to tell our ideas because we're interviewing others for their ideas, right? So it's good for us to get together and inspire and share what we're doing. So my question for you is, what was your favorite interview so far?
Wow. So.
Or some of your favorites, if you don't want to isolate it.
Well, I guess there's so many good ones that I really enjoy, but there's definitely one that I guess I'm proud that I got, which is the last interview with Albert Okura. And so if you guys don't know who Albert Okura is, he is the founder of Juan Pollo. He recently passed, right? And so I had the last interview that he ever did. And so that's probably one of the proudest things that I have is that I had the last interview with Albert Okura.
Well, rest his soul. Good job, man.
And so that's one of the things that I can. But that's what comes to mind immediately is because it's like, okay, I was able to honor his story and his legacy and have that stuff. And so that's another thing really about what we do and what I'm really happy to do is that we are documenting people's lives.
Totally. We're historians.
Yeah, we're basically historians. We're documenting people's lives.
I am an educated and trained anthropologist. That's what we do, and it's becoming what we have to do to save San Bernardino. We have to show them our history, what has worked, what has gone good, and then we got to educate them on the stuff that is working right now. Totally. So like you can come up with new ideas, but this is what's working, so you have to add to something like this, right? So I like to inspire new ideas, but I also like people to know the other stuff so they can actually focus on that. We also have to understand, Albert Okura, what did he do? Well, he started a business here in our area, right? This business grew.
Yes,
he ended up buying a city, Amboy, because of it, right? Yep. Built a museum. Took those funds and invested in the community. I mean, I don't know how many times I ate Juan Pollo.
And it's some of the
catered,
best.
Right? Yeah.
Some of the best.
I mean, that potato salad.
That's like the universal. That's what we need right now. As this country is divided, we need to just put Juan Pollo potato salad right there in the middle.
Got you.
And then we're going to all come together.
Got it. Next to a smash burger.
Yeah. There you go.
Wait. So,
go ahead.
Chubsy smash burger.
With mashed potatoes on it.
Well,
he said on it.
He's going on it.
Or make I got it right here. Make a mashed potato like patty, and we fry the Juan Pollo mashed the potato salad, smash it into a patty, panko breadcrumbs, stuff it with cheese,
Holy
panko
hell.
breadcrumbs, fry it up, throw it on top of the smash burger.
As long as you don't use lard, I think you're vegetarian there.
Well, the smash, the beef,
Yeah,
the
the
beef.
beef, yeah.
You
Oh,
got
you're-
the beef.
you're the
I'm
burger.
throwing it
Oh.
on top of the smash
Oh,
burger.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
It's going to be the Wanzinator or something.
Yeah. And if your heart stops in the middle of the process, that's normal.
The meal is free.
Fun.
Like heart attack.
Sign waivers before this, right?
By all means, you know. Awesome. Good vibes, y'all. Good
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah.
I just gotta say.
Politicians. So I mean, like I find it normally necessary to interview candidates before the election, and then occasionally bring in politicians to speak on what they're working on. And,
Yeah.
just let us know how they feel about certain things. Oftentimes, I feel like I get half truths.
Okay, can
Like-
you explain?
Yeah. My first experience with a politician was with Fred Charette, our councilman. Right. So I heard that Wildwood Park was going to be developed, and they were going to, turn it into a charter school and an Applebee's.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So this was my call to action. I had
Okay.
I Love San Bernardino Facebook group started, and
Yeah.
I'm like, they are gonna put a 2-story gymnasium in front of the Arrowhead.
That'd be cool.
They're gonna block the Arrowhead's view. As an archaeologist,
I see what you're saying.
I know you cannot block the view of a historic resource.
Yes, I
so
mean, I see where we're going.
environmental impact reports, kind of stuff. I'm like, CEQA, this is where I play.
I
Let's
agree.
go, Fred Charette.
You're throw
So
down.
I go into my first city meeting after my first Parks and Rec meeting, and I goes directly up to him and I asked him about it. And he said, well, we're just putting an Applebee's there, but we're not putting a charter school.
Does he sound like
Oh, well,
Mr. Mackey
yeah.
in real life?
Yeah. Well, but he it was a half truth. They were putting a charter school there, and they couldn't do it without it.
Without the Applebee's?
Yeah, they needed the charter school for the tax revenue necessary for whatever that was to fund what was going on there.
Loopholes.
And then they were gonna do it for at least for $2 a year. For
Okay.
it. I'm like, this stuff is
it's
really
crazy.
wild, man. So we stopped it. They hired a lobbying group and everything, right? So that was my half truth. My first interview with a politician was that half truth. Then I knew that's my fault.
Why?
I was not going to our city meetings. I
Okay.
didn't know my
Lack of
politicians.
knowledge. Lack
I
of
didn't know
knowledge.
anything that was going on.
I
I
hear
didn't
you.
understand that they lie to you or tell you half truths.
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm like, wow. Like, so I already had the information. That is the key to interviews now. So now when I do it when I see a half truth, sometimes I let it go a little bit, but I try to angle the next question and to elaborate more to see if I can get a little more out of them. But sometimes it don't work. What do you do if you get a half truth? You feel?
Politician wise or just in general?
Yeah. Do you just let it go? Or?
So for me, I think I like to let the individual speak for themselves because that's their choice if they want what they want to say,
Okay.
right? And if I have a question to get like a little bit more understanding, like I asked you, like what do you mean? Then I'll ask that, and if they want to answer how they want to answer, then that's their decision, right? Like that's their. And if I like, for example, like let's say if I kind of know a little bit more information, then perhaps I'll throw a little bit more into it. Like let's see. I think I was talking to Charles Bibbs about
awesome
art,
artist.
and he's not a politician; he's an artist. But
Shout out to Charles Bibbs.
Charles Bibbs, and I asked him, I was like, "So, what's your thoughts on AI art? Because that's a big thing that's happening, right? AI art." And so, and before that, he was never talking about AI art. And recently, I was on a panel with him, and now he's talking a lot about like AI art. So sometimes I realize that not only do information come. I'm kind of going off the question a little bit. Sorry, but
No. I like this.
Not only does information we get it, but sometimes we're also giving information to our guests as well.
True.
Into the people.
It's interchange.
Yeah, it's like
Exchange.
information exchange. But
It inspires them too because this is a buzz coming on this stuff. Like sometimes at night I'm thinking about what I said on the radio and talked. So they guests do too. So
Yeah.
it gives them energy, right? Like maybe inspires them to go.
make them think, you know. But going back to the half truths, I just let people say whatever they want, and I learn when I deal with politicians because there's certain things that they don't want to talk about, and so I just I give them a preemptive strike and tell them, hey, like, what do you not want to talk about? And they might be like, hey, I don't want to talk about my opponent. Don't mention them in this interview. Okay, I respect that, and I think that's really important is to come to everybody respectfully and see what they do and don't want to talk about, and don't cross those boundaries.
Word up.
You know what I mean? Or if someone's like, hey, I don't want to talk about that, okay, that's fine. On to the next thing.
That's why I love what we're doing, because we can do that now. Like back in the Cannabis Corner days and stuff, when I was doing more controversial shows, you had to like, you know,
Fry.
But now we can like I call them like softball or informational interviews, right? So they come in. But do you? Oh, I know I have a question, but I have one more. Like, so do you? What if they don't answer? You just let it go to them. You just let it go to the next question. Or?
Yeah. So like, for example, like they don't like I ask a question and they don't say anything, or what's?
Yeah. They don't really answer your question. Do you ask it again, or?
Yeah. So it depends on like how it comes about. So like say if. What's interesting, and you guys probably experienced this, on guest to guest, sometimes you'll ask a question and they go completely off of the question.
Totally.
Like what? Like.
Totally.
Come back.
I think I do that. I mean,
like you got to reel it back. Hey,
it's okay. You're the host.
Yeah. I asked you about fish, and now you're talking about
chop suey.
Chop suey. A System of a Down. It's like, no, I didn't ask about System of a Down chop suey.
Yeah.
I asked about fishing, and so then again, I'll have to like reiterate, but like, so what did you think about the halibut? Was it good? Huh?
So, but if they're doing it, if they did it by accident, then you do that. But if they were doing it on purpose, like you could feel them doing it, then you'd let it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, because I see politicians sometimes they'll answer a totally different question, even though they know what you're asking.
And that's a media tactic as well. You know, to always when you have your certain talking points that you want to get. You know, that you want to land on, and you're being interviewed by media and they're trying to steer the narrative or steer the conversation in a direction that you don't support. Sometimes you acknowledge what the question they have, and I really would like to focus on, and then you hit them with your talking points. So that could be some of the media training as well.
Interesting.
So like going back to the politics, like so I recently had Senator Rosalicie on, who is basically the senator of basically the Inland Empire, both basically San Bernardino County and Riverside County. And to answer your question, like I'm not sure if they're just really comfortable with me, but no one so far has given me like they don't want to answer a question or whatever. And if they hypothetically like say they don't, then I'll just move on, right? Just to keep the vibe going.
Like, if you try to interview John Valdivia, like that dude puts like. He has to have the questions beforehand.
Gotcha. Former mayor, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yes.
And Rosalie, pretty like it's kind of I guess like if you really want the interview, you're willing to do it. Sometimes I've said no.
Definitely.
Like,
and you have that right as the interviewer as well. But I imagine that you kind of avoid a lot of those situations because you're willing to work with them and you say, you know, are there questions that you don't want me to ask? So you guys are kind of on the same page before the interview even starts. And so I imagine that you don't experience that because like Robert said it back in the day, he'll be in there pulling teeth, you know what I mean?
You had to
get to where he
information, man.
But eventually he learned that you know, the saying that you get more bees with honey than vinegar. You know what I mean?
Dr. Hill.
God rest Dr. Margaret Hill, you know, shout out to her. But my question for you I know that we're probably about to the 5-minute mark of 7 minutes left. If you could get one interview right now, well, who's your dream interview? Maybe let me ask it like that. Who's your dream interview? Alive and then someone, and then post-mortem, someone who's passed away that you would love to interview as well.
The first thing that came to mind right now, because his name's been on my mind, is James Earl Jones.
Oh, man.
He's been on my mind for a lot. The next person, I guess another Jones, is Quincy Jones. Those are alive. Yeah. I think it's, for me personally, and I'm definitely going to start doing this more, is getting those icons in. For example, just like how we got Alberto Cura in before the time is gone. Dead, the first person that comes to mind is Tupac Shakur. That's the first person that comes to mind right now. Yeah.
Definitely. What would be one of the questions you would ask Tupac? I know you would have a slew of questions, but if you could think of one, what would be?
God, you know, it's so funny. It comes to me right now, which is like, how close were you with Jada, and would you have married her? And that's only right now because of the whole situation or whatever. Blah blah blah.
Definitely, no, for real.
Yeah.
That would be front news right there, bro. That's great question. Great question.
Well, yeah, Tupac, man. Whew. I don't know, like, what would you ask him? Like, did you know you would have been a billionaire, dude? I mean, like, I don't know, man.
Would you have known you sold more albums after your passing than for real?
Like, wow, like that you would be still a household name years and years after
Word up.
you
Yeah.
put out
Staying
your best
power
songs.
for real.
And I was a huge Tupac fan, like a lot of us. And there was a big thing for a long time that he was still alive after his death. That thing was going around for a while. And I remember I had
Elvis.
yeah, I remember I had a dream that super wild that that he was concealing his identity as living as a homeless woman. And this, I know, it was wild. And this is like
I think I saw
20
him
years
out
ago.
there.
Yeah, this is like 20 years ago. And so, yeah, it was just interesting.
Yes, yeah. He sold me a CD for $5, man. He was still singing. He was still getting out there.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. No,
No.
that's very interesting. That's
All right,
very interesting.
so the last thing I like to end the show with something positive that's happened to us this week. Yanni, would you start?
Well, definitely. One thing that I'm definitely elated to share and celebrate is I finally got my website built. So motivationalrealizations.com is live. You can purchase books there. You can also hit me up for autographed copies. There'll be more merch coming there. You also could book an inspiration session as well. I have the booking fees on there as well, and just looking to put a lot more. Just a lot more offerings on there, living the dream, you know what I mean? Making it real, I like to say turning on the faucet. So I actually when I say that, I mean having a vehicle, having something that people can purchase or put money in your pocket. Because some people want to bless you. But if you don't have a pocket for them to bless you with, then that's on you,
True.
Yeah, it's very true. And I don't want to sound negative, but, what can happen a lot on this road is that you can get discouraged because you have your pocket out, you have your workout, and people aren't supporting, and it's going to be very discouraging. But sometimes just that, hey man, I see you, boom, that goes a long way.
Tighten that belt.
Word up.
I'm adding loops to mine. Let me tell you.
Like you said, just being recognized.
Yeah.
That can encourage you to keep moving forward when the times are hard.
And you're a hero to me, dude. Anyone who's showcasing our community,
Word up.
that's inspiration for me. That makes me
Positive
want to
light.
do better,
Amen.
So thank you for doing that, man.
Thank you. I see you out here, Robert. Come on, man.
Word up.
Hey,
Word
dude,
up.
Come on. And
OG.
Yanni, I see both you guys.
When I started this stuff, man, hardly anybody wanted to do anything, man. We're in bankruptcy. No one wanted to showcase our city. Like it was rough times, but it's so much better now. I'm like,
Definitely.
wow. It's like it's wonderful.
Definitely, like we battle that mindset. But on that same tip, what is something positive that happened for you this week?
Got you. So let's say we work on the calendar, which is Sunday is the first day of the week. Actually, number one, I'm just always grateful to be alive, to
Amen.
stand up and have visions and work every day towards my
Amen.
happiness, right? And so I'm grateful for being here with you gentlemen today, and thank you guys for letting me come here and
It's a
speak with you
blessing to
guys.
have you here, brother.
And so I think that's one thing that I'm really happy about. And I also had the other interview that I had today with Billy Dinnerstein.
Awesome.
And so those two things I'm really grateful for this week is being here with you guys in person, in the flesh, and to
Amen.
be able to do this.
And my positive is this wonderful interview here. How can they find out? What's your website?
So you guys can go to my Instagram, which is THEE_Empire podcast. Also follow us on, what is it called? YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, The Empire Podcast. You can get the links to support the work and everything like that.
Definitely. Keep up the great job, what you do in highlighting the positive things in the community. I love the diversity of the interviews that you have, and any way that I can help spread the word. I know I need to subscribe. I know the last time we spoke at the Coma Center, I need to make sure I follow through. I'll make sure that happens tonight, and I'll definitely make sure I circulate all that you do because you're a positive brother, and I appreciate you, man, and keep up the great work.
And remember, there's going to be people studying our history
Yeah.
long after we're gone because we
Long.
took the time to do it. And this is Robert Porter and Ipiani Locker with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show, and we are out of here.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
It's time to shop in the cool, relaxed comfort of the Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands, conveniently located on the I-10 freeway between the Alabama and Tennessee exits. Bring the kids too and watch them play in the only indoor fun center. High Five Indoor Playground, where parents are welcomed on the playground. Birthday celebrations are encouraged, so make plans for some great fun at the mall. More reasons why the Tri-City Center is called the Mall with a Heart.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Spear, a licensed agent with Litchfield Insurance Associates here in Beaumont. A large portion of Americans don't have life insurance or don't have enough. Whether you need a temporary policy, something to help with income during retirement,